Hello and welcome everybody. It's Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, another Wednesday where we can say hello to the people from around the world. And yes, I'm wearing Frida Kahlo this time. My sister made it. How beautiful is it? I'm very honored to wear it, and also I'm a very big fan of Frida Kahlo, the feminist in Mexico. And talking about Mexico, yesterday was Cinco de Mayo. I'm always laughing. People think in Mexico that's their national holiday. No, it's not. Actually, in 1862, it was the battle in the place called Puebla, where the Mexican won the battle over the French army. So Cinco de Mayo. And another funny one was, people said, what does Cinco de Mayo mean in Spanish? Well, Cinco de Mayo. Or another funny one was, does it have anything to do with mayonnaise? Well, I don't think so. So it's the 5th of May, Cinco de Mayo, and certainly Frida Kahlo is with us all the time. So today is something uplifting. I hope everybody is safe, happy, healthy, still at home. I know it's probably 7 weeks that I have done the Facebook Live. It's needed. Who is working from home? Everybody is working from home who can do that. But again, thanks to all the first responders and the people who are in the stores, or people who are delivering, people who are in essential businesses. I read in a post that even podcasts are in essentials. So podcasts go under the umbrella probably of media and entertainment. Certainly a podcast can be done all the time. And also, when you think of commencement speeches, some of them are even done online these days. It's the new normal. How is that for you? Thank you everybody for the great feedback that I'm getting. Everybody takes a few nuggets out of these talks. I'm happy to provide some of help, some of uplift, some fun, whatever you need at that time. It's not easy, and I'm taking a class at the moment, an online class obviously. Actually 2 online classes. So the first class I'm taking is a photography class at NYU. And guess what? The title of the class is actually street photography. So we started when everybody was at home. So how can you take pictures of streets when nobody can go outside, and you don't want to be in people's faces when it's difficult, we have to wear a mask, or we're not very happy. So what we did, the professor actually encouraged us and invited us just to take pictures to things that we have at home. Funny things. Come and join us next week, Wednesday. It starts at 6:30 to 8:30 Eastern Time. And I have a Zoom link. So on the Facebook page, on my Facebook page, I have an invite, and there is the link, and whoever is interested, please DM me. I'm happy to send you the invite. So street photography, we're 4, 5 or 6 students, and we will show our pictures that we have taken over the course of the last 7 weeks. I've seen a lot of them. One student is in Brazil, one student is in Peru, and the rest are in the US. So interesting pictures that we see from around the world. Chime in. I have the Zoom link for you. You can bring a glass of wine. Unfortunately, we cannot provide that. Years ago, we had a photo show actually in a real gallery, and I was also a participant. It was in 2017, and we had a real opening night with our picture. So that was certainly a very cool and a very proud moment of myself. I am a photographer, I guess. So come and join us for the street photography next week, Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. live on Zoom with the professor Lawrence Sweetman. So that's it. And Cinco de Mayo was yesterday. I hope some of you had a little party. I've seen some of the people celebrating with a tequila or a beer, or I even saw somebody had a truck coming to their house and helping them to get some tacos. How cool is that? But again, Cinco de Mayo has nothing to do with mayonnaise. I thought that was the coolest thing I have heard. So what is it that I want to talk to you today? Again, it goes along the lines of giving back. Who is giving back in your community, and how can you give back more, even in an invisible way? Certainly we have heard from Ross Fraser, who is delivering food in the Denver, Colorado area. That's an easy way of helping people. But you also want to make sure people who might need a little more help, encourage them to call up a helpline. There are therapists waiting for you who can help you get through difficult times. This is necessary. Some people go through a dip. Now it has been 6-7 weeks for the people to stay home. It's not easy. Some people can cope with that better than others. So if you know of somebody who needs more help than just a Facebook Live, please, you can send them my way. I'm happy to provide the numbers where you can get help from professionals. I'm not a therapist, I'm a coach. There is a difference between a therapist. A therapist is a licensed person, so they know how to deal with that. And everybody is at a different stage. It's kind of like when you have a stressor in your life, it can be a death in the family, but it can also be moving, or it can be marriage. The nerves are heightened and you need some help from a professional. How else can you give back? We heard last week from Rosanna with the waffles and dingies. That's another way of giving back. You can basically pay forward and somebody else will get the food. If you listen to my podcast, and actually today was a new podcast, I interviewed the co-founder and CEO Isabel, who has developed a plant-based snack. It's called Get Loopy, and I certainly will have the link in the comments after the Facebook Live. So Get Loopy is from the lupini beans. They are from Europe, and they have tons of proteins, amino acid, everything that you need to be healthy and happy. If you order for the first time, you get 20% off. Just put in Susanne 20. I'll have that in the comments as well. Super healthy snacks, especially for runners, for people on the go. Obviously these days we're not so much on the go anymore, but also if you need an afternoon snack, Get Loopy. What a cool name. So support the local business, support the startups. They only started end of last year, so hopefully they can keep going, and also giving back. They're sponsoring my podcast, so it's a win-win situation for everybody. I'm a vegetarian at the moment, but listening to Isabel, I'm like, I think I could go plant-based, I could go vegan, why not? I might try it out. Might be a little hard with the cheese and the yogurt coming from Switzerland. And what about the chocolate? All right, so there we are, chocolate. I'm wondering how your routine is now compared to maybe 7 weeks ago. I spoke to my mentee in Lagos yesterday, and she says, when I heard from you that I need a routine, that was really what was necessary. The first week she was staying home, she didn't know what to do with herself. She went crazy, she said, and now she has a routine. It's a little easier for her, but obviously the lockdown in the big city of Lagos has been lifted, And yesterday in our coaching session, we said maybe she doesn't need to go to the office every single day. What about if she informs her clients that she will be in the office Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to 2? Why not have shorter office hours than regular hours that you would have? And she said the traffic is already crazy again, so people are going out and yeah, the cars are on the street. So think about how you, if your lockdown is lifted, how you can be still mindful, wear the mask, wash the hands, and still contribute to being safe and healthy, and also keep that distance for the other people. In New York City, Central Park, obviously on a nice day, there's always a lot of people. Not everybody is wearing a mask, so not good. People get angry, so we have to be conscientious and we have to help and do our part, wear the mask. So that's what I want to talk about, humanity, right? So not everybody is kind of like suffering the same way. And when you work with people, it is important to ask them, how are you feeling? What's happening? If you, and I said that last time, if you ask the question, how are you? People say, good, I'm fine. That's about it. But if you take a little more time to ask that question, it is important to listen, maybe stop, as we say, smell the roses, just have a little talk, take a little more time for the people. And who can you call up today that you would never call? I had a call with my high school girlfriends. That was actually fantastic, just to catch up and see how is everybody doing. I call up my mom every other day, so just to check in. People who are alone, people who are in the risk group, they need our support now. And I also saw some people ask, what can I put into my new office? What do we need in our new office, right? In an office, you have your, I don't know, I see people with 2-3 screens. You might not have the space for that. I certainly only have a laptop. That's enough for me, for my work. I have my books around me. That's also enough. But people were asking. So somebody said, have flowers. Yeah, flowers have a positive effect on you. And make sure that you can look at those flowers. If you have a bigger space, have some plants that you can look at them, you see them grow, you see them develop, that's even better. So have something positive around you. And again, the routine is important, the healthy habits. So I'm sure everybody has developed a habit now. We cannot just sleep for 7 weeks, I'm assuming. And if you work from home, you also have to create this habit for yourself. The other topic that I want to talk about is about feedback, providing feedback. And we all provide feedback to people on any given day. Sometimes we don't realize that it is feedback. You think you just make a comment. Sometimes we make a comment that is not even welcomed, or we didn't ask for a comment. So in those difficult times, be a little more mindful of how you provide comments, or maybe wait until you're asked for your opinion or your comments, your 2 cents. So providing feedback as a leader, it has to be mindful. It has to be, well, you should start in a positive way. You don't start like, hey, what you did yesterday was not really good. Well, maybe you ask, tell me a little bit what happened yesterday. Was it a stressful day? You seemed like out of the ordinary. I'm just wondering what happened to you yesterday. That sounds certainly much better than when you say, why did you do this or that, in a very accusing way. So we should avoid the why question. It almost sounds as if you're like always saying you do something wrong, this was not good. So be really mindful of how you provide feedback. So if possible, you would start with something positive and then lead into whatever you want to say. And but it's also important that you can say, look, we all are in this situation. We are all in this situation together. It's not easy, but I'm here to help, and together we can do this. Also encourage that if people have some issues, they don't know how to cope with that situation and they working maybe on a deadline, tell them to reach out to you sooner than later. Why wait till you're at the 11th hour and you're like, I need help? No, you have to ask for help before the 11 hours come, and then you can work together. Not everybody is maybe as outspoken, so you have to pick out the people who might be a little more quiet on your team, ask them more questions, check in more often, because they might be lost and they might not realize that they can ask for help. So if you are a leader, even a person who works with somebody, ask the question, are you okay? Do you need help? And if you realize that that person doesn't like to say, yes, I need help, ask in a different way, like what needs to be get done? What other elements do you need help with? And maybe come up with a little checklist on saying like, have you done this? Have you done that? Or even come up with a step-by-step process, like a checklist for the other person to make their life much easier. I think you see when that person is like, oh my God, if people talk faster, if people don't breathe, if people breathe like you can certainly find out that they have a hard time to cope with that situation. So now, when you are receiving feedback, sometimes we're like, I don't need to hear this. But the best way of receiving feedback, even positive, is just to say thank you, thank you, thank you. That's it. We don't need to say anything else. So sometimes when you get a nice compliment like, oh, I like your Frida Kahlo sweater, you say, oh, thank you. But I like to add, my sister made it, right? So I'm proud that she made it all from scratch. And the other thing that I want to say is a lot of people are artists now. They make their own outfits. That was certainly one, but I got it for my Christmas present. So people start to become creative. And when you have listened to, probably 2 weeks ago, the podcast with Jan Sommers, and I put the information again in the notes. He is a photographer and a poet, and I just love what he's doing. He is posting a picture, one of his art, and then he asks a question, what word comes to your mind? And people put like words. I remember there was an elegant lady on one of his posts, and I write elegance. So he takes those words, maybe he has 30 words, and he creates a poem. And not only does he create a poem, but he makes a video and he has it on every single day now. So maybe because of the podcast, he was actually inspired to do more. So check him out. He's certainly a great person to learn from. What can you do? What can you be? How can you be more creative even in a difficult time and do something for the world to share and something uplifting? That's actually what we need now. I heard from a first responder in Australia. She said, stop with all the negative COVID posting. Please post uplifting stories. So sometimes I like to have like an uplifting story. And I was just reflecting a little bit on where do I come from? Obviously, I'm from Switzerland. Most of you know that. But then I was a paper girl and now I'm a podcaster. So for P2P, that was my story that I was reflecting on last week. And if anybody of you needs help with a podcast, I'm happy to help you to start a podcast. It's not easy, as we know, the starts are never easy, but it can get done. Everybody should have a cool message, or you can be on my podcast. So I want to leave you with this. There's a lot of elements that I spoke today about. So the feedback, the humanity, and just be happy with where you are, that you can be at home and reach out to others. And again, I have podcasts on Monday and on Wednesday. Every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern is another Facebook Live. And I'm happy to donate 30 minutes of coaching for free. And again, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor. Coaching is for you. Coaching is to unleash your potential, to see where you are at the moment, or where you want to be in the next 2 to 3 to 5 years. Who knows? Now is the time to change. Now is the time to look at things differently. And maybe now you have a little more time. Who knows? And Friday every week for the past 10 years is a blog coming out. So everything is on Facebook or on or my website. I will have all the links in the comments. And if you have a question, please reach out to me. Maybe you have a topic that you would like to share or hear. I'm happy to chime in with anything that you need. And just want to say cheers. Make sure you have a good coffee or a tea and hydrate as much as possible and have that routine ready for you. So I wish everybody a happy Wednesday and be safe and sane at home. Thank you very much for chiming in, and I'll see you next week again. Bye-bye.